Hey everyone, how's everyone doing?
Hey, Tarji, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm happy to have some of our Voyage partners here with us today as well.
Yeah, nice to
Cool.
be here.
Hey
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, how's it doing? Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, it's so great to be hanging out with you guys again. And of course, a big old fist bump to our community and also our new listeners here. We are super stoked to have you, and also happy Friday to you guys. If you or anyone are new around here or just stumbled upon our space, MYRIA is an end-to-end gaming ecosystem. We're also an Ethereum layer 2 powered by Starkware, and that really enables us to scale digital assets and support roughly 9,000 gas-free transactions per second. We're also hell-bent on making it a breeze to build and mint on our platform and allow both players and partner studios to explore those games in depth and also enjoy those seamless transactions along the way. So today we are talking all about NFTs, how studios go about creating them, and how they are setting them up for a whole new world of possibilities, be it through crafting, evolving NFTs, burn mechanics, trading, and more. And with us today are some of our Voyage campaign partners. They're all top members from studios building with us. You may know them already. We have Ridiculous Shooter, Zone 9 Survival, and Crystals of Fate. Welcome, everyone. And we also have Brendan, our co-founder, here with us today. Would you like to kick things off with maybe a short intro, and then we could just pass the mic around? So
Yes.
off to you. Yeah. So over to you, Brendan,
Me
and
first,
then
me first, Tarji. Cool.
yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks for helping us get set up. I'm very happy to be here and have our partners here to discuss some stuff. So, as probably many of you know, I'm Brendan, as Tarji just mentioned. I'm one of the co-founders at MYRIA and our head of blockchain. You also probably know about MYRIA already, but I'll give a quick summary just for everybody's context. MYRIA is one of the largest Web3 gaming ecosystems now, with over 1 million registered users and more than 250 game studios who are actively building on our layer 2 technology. So our goal is ultimately to help the players. That's been our goal since the outset, is to try to make the gaming experience for players better. But that takes a lot of forms, and our largest focus perhaps is in fact helping studios and game creators, like some of those we have with us today, make a better experience for their players. So we offer on that front easy to use developer tools for traditional game developers, as well as Web3 game builders who don't maybe want to have to get into the nitty-gritties of a smart contract built on a layer 2, which can get quite complex. Aside from that, we have the grant program, which is also helping builders. But then, of course, MYRIA is developing its own AAA quality games with NFTs. So we're supporting builders, but we're also builders ourselves. So we know what it takes to support these builders. And then last but not least, we're allowing anybody who wants to participate, as I'm sure, again, most everyone knows, in our ecosystem to become a node owner. And we really think this is going to help decentralize our blockchain gaming platform and can really help us build what we're trying to build. So that's me and MYRIA, and yes, very excited to have this discussion today.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a bunch, Brandon, for the overview and for our killer panel over here. Could you all please state your name, your role, and the game that you're producing, and also maybe just throw in a quick bio in there while you're at it. So we can start with Ridiculous Shooter, followed by Zone 9, and then wrap up with Crystals of Fate.
Yeah, for sure. So hello everyone. My name is Tom, and I'm the co-founder and tech lead of the Ridiculous Shooter project. So personally, I'm a game developer with more than a decade of experience in the industry, having developed games that have gained millions of downloads on the Web2 side. Now you can say I'm a permanent boot, which is a perma boot for MYRIA with a grand goal, that is to implement all MYRIA SDK features, including in-game minting and trading into our NFT game Ridiculous Shooter. That's it for me.
Okay, great. Great to have you here, Tang. And then over to you, Lynn.
Hey guys. I'm Lynn from Zone 9 Survival.
So I'm the co-founder and acting chief business officer of our studio, QBA Studio, and we building a zombie shooting survival MMORPG game on Unreal Engine 5. We are going to launch on like a Web 2 version on Steam in about 2 months, and we already have the our NFT launch on MYRIA. So before we have the Web3 version, if you have any NFT, you can add us to give you guys like a redeem code for the game version on Steam. Yeah.
Awesome game version in Steam. We love me some survival games, and I'm super excited to play Zone 9 Survival. And then we'll hop on over to John from Crystals of Fate.
Thank you. Hi everyone. My name is John McKay. I'm based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We're a remote-based studio, but yeah, we've made a game called Crystals of Fate, and it's basically like a Clash Royale meets Hearthstone simultaneous CCG. And yeah, we're live on MYRIA. We just launched our Genesis sale, about a week or so ago, and yeah, again, I'm CEO and managing director, and we're a team of about 25, 30. And yeah, we love to be here, and we're very thankful for what MYRIA is doing and where we're going. So much appreciated for that.
Thanks so much, John. Super appreciate also your genre and kind of your unique take on online card games, and it's really great that you're able to pull together a remote team. That's a great thing too about technology nowadays. Can definitely fully fledged AAA game in that space. So really excited for what you guys are doing and what you're up to. Just to kind of hop on over to the next part. We'll do a little bit of a speed run, kind of like a TLDR. And in 1 to 2 sentences, what is your game all about, and why should people come and play it? So let's just like keep the same order to keep things rolling. Starting with Brendan, I believe, because we do have a game that's being built now too.
We do. As I said, we're also builders. So unsurprisingly, the one that comes to mind for me is our flagship Meta Rush. Not our only game, but it's one we're really excited about. So intergalactic obstacle runner with the battle royale elements. So you can use power-ups to fend off competitors, slow them down in time for you to reach the finish line. So that's the basic idea. But we have Quentin Gabriel spearheading that for art direction. And I'm not surprised again if you know him from other titles. He's worked on the likes of Assassin's Creed, Diablo 4, Spider-Man, The Division, and some others. And so we're very lucky to have him on the team working on Meta Rush.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. That's actually the first time I've heard anyone pronounce Quentin's name was Quentin.
I've been practicing, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And over to you also, Tang. What you guys got cooking over there?
So before I introduce our game, I must say that Meta Rush is also one of the most impressive Web3 games that I have seen so far. So I'm definitely looking forward to play it.
Thanks so much.
All right, so for ridiculous shooters, so we have seen gamers often find it challenging to balance their gaming and daily life due to a standard and mentally taxing gameplay section. The gameplay section is too long, however. Therefore, we have developed this solution, an entertaining and highly captivating 2D online arena shooter. And our game allows you to have a blast with friends, other players, or against AIs. And the best part, each round is just 3 minutes long. So that's how I recommend our games to potential gamers, because you can have as much fun as you want, whether you are busy or not. Not to mention our game is also available on iOS, Android, and web platform, which means you can play pretty much everywhere. On top of that, our prime vision is that you can play our game for fun and earn from our game with fun at the same time with all the awesome NFT features that are already implemented or they are being implemented with MYRIA SDK. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, and you only really do need 2 dimensions to have a good time. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have long gameplay too, in the form of Zone 9 Survival and more of like a 3D FPS and survival game. Would you like to shed more light on that, Lynn?
Yeah, so so now what we are trying to build is like, let's see, a game like Daisy or Rush. They are very famous right now for being the top of the genres in survival game. But we also love the element of like hardcore fighting with zombie from Left 4 Dead or World War Z. So what we're trying to build here is the combination of those two genres. So you also have to survive by drinking, eating, build your base, all of the things. But you also have to fight against zombie, and zombie will be a really big threat in our game because there is RPG elements in the game. So like there are multiple type of zombie, each with their own weakness, and there will be a lot of zombie bosses that cannot be beaten with any like 10 people, but you will need a whole guild or maybe the whole server to be able to beat those kind of boss. So it we trying to create the MMORPG experience on Chen.
Awesome! Yeah, I did see that gameplay video of that spider-like creature being fought by one of the characters, and I have to say it was absolutely terrifying. And all the more makes the game even more exciting. So really excited for what's happening over there. And then pass it to you, John. Like what's happening over there in Crystals of Fate?
Yeah, so for Crystals, as I said earlier, it's a simultaneous card game. So it really, for the card game players here, it's very different, right? A lot of players that have come in. It takes a little bit getting used to because we're really changing the perception of card games. We're really trying to innovate and push the genre forward, especially with the issues that a lot of card games have. Hearthstone and other traditional turn-based games. There's a lot of player disengagement. You're mostly waiting 30 seconds a minute between turns, and then if I'm the first player, typically if I've got all the right cards in my hand, I mean the second player pretty much feels like they're playing catch up the whole time. So there's a lot of balance and design issues and different things with turn-based card games that we feel that we've identified and fixed with the type of combat system that Crystals embodies. But really, we're a Web 2 and obviously highly focused on Web 3 game experience where we're really just trying to innovate and push the genres forward. We're definitely an esports based type of game, and we're really offering many different customization and different things for people to play the way they want to play. We've got a bunch of different game modes. Currently, you can go and download it right now. The game is available on Android and PC. It's multi-platform, cross-platform compatible, and we're super excited. iOS will be coming, but yeah, it's and then there's just many different layers of strategy. Because you've got a certain amount of time, and then the game simulates, and you've got 5 different lanes. So, I would definitely recommend for those card game players, if you haven't played, to go check it out and get a few games under your belt. But yeah, I promise you won't go back after you've got to experience it firsthand.
Yeah, so I would second that idea, just because we've tried letting a bunch of our community members play Crystals of Fate, and we've had people who just would not let up. They just kept playing it every day, which is really, really funny to watch. But like also, it speaks a lot to just how well you guys were able to design, just managing all of these resources in one really short period of time. So it was really a great brain exercise too. If you haven't checked it out, do go ahead and do that. And just like kind of moving on to setting up players to play your games. as we all know, arming players with a sort of starter pack has really been core to gaming culture for a while now. In fact, back in the days of 8-bit, I believe we've had everyone start out with their Pokemons, their perks, their potions, and even in combat shooters, starter crates had the quintessential care package of skins and weapons for everyone to start out with. So I just wanted to know, from your game specifically, what does the typical starter pack look like, and what non-fungible tokens does a player need to get started in your game? So we can go, since kind of Meta Rush is still in development, we can go straight to Ridiculous Shooter, followed by Zone 9, and then Crystals of Fate.
Yes, for sure. So when it comes to our game, I would say we're pretty friendly since we provide free starters for the players and they are pretty straightforward. The player will be given 1 non-NFT character and 2 non-NFT guns to experience the game without any initial investment at all. Not to mention, we are going to periodically give free NFT characters and items to new joiners. So this approach matches our vision for Web3 game that a Web3 game should be free to play and fun to earn. This is what we always focus about. And it also means that the players will need no NFT access to get started, which aligns with our another goal, which is pretty big. We always focus on these goals, that is to attract as much Web2 players as possible and transition them into Web3 world as smooth as possible over time. Yep.
Cool, awesome, and we'll pass it on to Lynn to talk about what a player needs to get started in Zone 9.
So in Zone 9, you can also start for free. And basically, we don't plan to actually selling any item to our user, because all of the item will have to be made by user. So we don't have anything to sell you. You have to find someone who have that to buy from them. And for starter, you will have your character naked. And you can harvest the material to grab from the environment, or you can find zombie and get in-game currency for buying from the NPC some basic stuff, or buy from other people.
Cool. So yeah, you have to be extra crafty in order to get an edge in the game. I love that. It's really true to survival setup. That's absolutely brilliant. And then how about over there, John? What's the starter pack, literal starter card pack that a player would kind of kick off with?
Yeah. So yeah, just like these guys, and I think these guys are bang on as well. And anyone in this ecosystem, if you're doing anything, it needs to be free to play, right? I think we've all seen and learned, especially with Axie Infinity and stuff, where it costs thousands just to play and to join a game. It's not sustainable, right? And in order to really have mass populace, to get exposure and visibility, it needs to be free to play so people can come in and there's no pressure, and yeah, you get the best chance for success for that. So just like that, for this, it's our game is free to play. All 6 classes are, we got warrior, support, mage, necromancer, guardian. All of them, you get starter classes and heroes in, and each of them come with a pre-default selected deck with cards that you can play with. So there's no need to buy anything. You can come in and see if you like it. And then from there, if you do want to purchase anything, we've got, so many different things for you guys to purchase, card packs, hero skin packages, different skins, different victory and defeat animations and emotes and all sorts of different things to customize your experience. But there's literally no pressure to buy anything. It's completely your call. So yeah, no, it's an esports based game, and that's the way it needs to be in order to get all the people coming in and wanting to play it.
100% agree. I love that your core game loop is ultra protected by free to play, and I think that's a trend that we've been seeing too recently, right? Like we've had people who were going into Axie treating the initial cost of playing as an investment, and so they did start treating it as a business, and they did have tournaments, but then a lot of the time it did carry that pressure of performing well and grinding to make that investment back, which partially takes away from the fun of it being a game. It's more of like a job.
Yep, and it's hard to get new players in the ecosystem when you have that type of barrier to entry, right? So it's really important to make it free to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you guys are really, using NFTs more to enrich the player experience rather than to gatekeep it from potential players. I think that's really a great way to approach it. And like in another kind of sense, like I'm curious to know, since you guys are all developing NFTs, I'm sure a lot of people are curious too. I know it's different for every studio, but how do you guys get your inspiration for building these assets? Can you give us a little sneak peek of what the creative process looks like in designing NFT collections? Over to you, Tang.
Yeah, for sure. So, I really enjoy so for designing the NFT, especially I would say particularly the game assets, the game ideas. I really enjoy shooter games like including the famous ones, Counter Strike, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. Half Life is going free recently. I just had a ton of fun with it too, with other players. In contrast, I also like the games that mix charm with a bit of violence, such as Plants vs. Zombie and Minecraft. Now, this makes me believe that our game Ridiculous Shooter takes inspiration from games that we enjoy in our childhood. So we approach our creative process with a blend of enthusiasm and professionalism. Of course, we need to be professional when it comes to designing the game ideas and NFT assets. So first, we'll capture all our fun ideas and inspiration from time to time. Even though sometimes I will wake up in the midnight, I will think, oh, there's a nice idea. I just join it down and then I put it into the online tool called Jira Product Discovery. Then it comes to the fun part. We will have a passionate and sometimes a very heated, very explosive meeting where we brainstorm and select the most fun. And the most fun ideas that align with our short-term goals, like what is the most fun, and we can do it in the same time. Because in game development, we not only have to focus on the fun parts, we also have to focus on delivering the stuffs on time. Then we just dive into the implementation. Much like the most great inventors that I really admire, we believe in sculpting our ideas to satisfaction first. Then we perform technical implementation based on the ideas rather than the other way around. So the process is really, I would say the process is really challenging because it requires a lot of communication with the teammates on what is the most fun, what is the best for the project. But we are really happy at the end and also inspired in the end because we met the game we really like, and we also think that if we met the game we really like, we will also other players of our kind will also enjoy it too.
Cool. So you guys kind of go with the approach of not holding back with the crazy ideas, and then just starting to fine tune it through the pipeline and trying to see feasibility studies around making it happen.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes we'll code it. The very ridiculous ideas will popping out, and we'll say, "Oh, let's do this."
Well, at least the game is named Ridiculous Shooter, so it makes a lot of sense to have crazy ideas in there. That's great.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll pass the mic on over to Lynn. How do you guys get your inspiration for this zombie apocalypse setting?
Yes, so we have our own novel. We have a fully licensed novel for the storyline of our game, and the novel already set up the whole world building. So what we try to do is to stick with the world building, so the theme, the atmosphere, the mood of the game, and we do anything to keep the narrative of the game. So to immersive the player into the apocalypse environment. So every time we do anything, we have to think Is it like too modern, or is it too futuristic, or it is possible in that kind of setting before we decide on anything?
Cool, yeah. And so it's, I think you guys are even like one step above movie adaptations in the sense that you are basing it off of your own licensed novel, but then the difference is that the viewer or the player can actually engage in the world and interact with the lore. And unlike a movie, it's not capped off at 3 hours, 2 hours. Like you have a whole play loop for people to enjoy the lore and kind of uncover things in a more organic way. I think that's super great too. Okay, and then we'll move over to John. I know you guys also have really deep lore with Crystals of Fate. Could you tell us more about that and the inspiration behind crafting your NFT?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 10 years of lore. And it is pretty crazy. Yeah, we're not lying. You want to go check out that, you go have a, read our encyclopedia or Wikipedia of white paper. It is a lot to take in. So, yeah, I mean, I think just like Lynn, we do have a lot of world building, like I said, 10 years, no joke. It's literally like Lord of the Rings type of quality type of stuff, and there's just so much depth to it. But really, for us, because we're really looking, again, we're devs and we're players, just like all of you. We're looking like to keep it within the realm of what we're building, but also make it so that it's like something that you guys would want, and something that it's worth like going after. So we've got different things in the game, such as emotes, and some of them are based on like pop culture and memes and different things like that. So it stays relative for and you guys can appreciate that. We've got animations and sort of victory animations and battleground environments that you guys can use and purchase, and land card backs. It's like it's a completely customizable experience. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's about staying true to what we have. That's for sure. But also making sure that we're giving you guys something that you like and you want, and something that sort of is attractive. But at like for us, a big thing is like Web 2 quality, but for Web 3 benefits, and Web 2 pricing. So just thinking about all these types of things, and then making a decision, to what price and what kind of quality we're trying to give out. And like all of in our game as well, all of our stuff is mostly 3D. So it takes a lot of time and effort in the pipeline to kind of sculpt and plan things out. But the end result is for us is just you guys enjoying everything that we're doing, and that satisfies us. So.
Yeah, and I think, John, like it's a really interesting thing too, that first off, that you're the last to answer this question, but because Crystals of Fate as a card game is a really interesting intersection between the two elements that we have with Ridiculous Shooter and Zone 9 Survival, and that Ridiculous Shooter is a fast-paced, fun game tournament style, which you're adopting as a card game, but you're also adopting the heavy lore behind it as what they're doing with Zone 9 Survival. And I think a card game is also perfect kind of medium to do that, in that you have cards that are working really quick simultaneous mechanics, but then little by little you get to know more about what each card does, and who these characters are and what role they play in the greater scheme of things. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I thought I'd just bring that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention, like for us, we're going to have interoperability. Like Crystals is obviously one of our first titles, but we're going to have like an arena game, MOBA, like all sorts of different things, and everything that we have is interoperable between all of our different titles. And so yeah, we're really looking at like the future and offering like true value for players long term.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. And yeah, now we're going to move on also to our segmented bits, meaning questions that are just assigned to a certain speakers. And so this one's going back to you, John, actually. What are some of the hardest parts of bringing a new collection or game to life? And by life, I really mean, how do you design game assets that really come into their own and provide value, sentimentality, narrative flavor, and all that good stuff in between?
Oh, that's a depth of a question. But yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to the creative process for everyone. Like we all have our different types of games. We've spent so many, in most cases, millions of dollars in time and energy and resources and everything to kind of build it out. And you want to make sure that, especially like, what you're building as far as the NFTs and what people are going to play with, or something that, again, is worthwhile. So I think it's super important.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. And how about for everybody? We have another question here. And if you were to choose 3 game assets to take with you on a deserted island, what would those 3 game assets be? Let's go around the table again, starting with Tang. I'm interested to see what your answers on this are, because I have no clue what I do in a deserted island.
Yes, no, actually, since we're pretty ridiculous, so we are pretty much prepared for everything. Yeah. So I would say if I was stranded on the desert island based on the current NFT inside the game and also the current supply, my picks will be the Prime Founder Coin NFT, the Ridiculous Metaverse Master Chief NFT, and also the Shotgun. So what is the reason? Because our Prime Founder Coin NFT and Master Chief NFT have these awesome features where they can periodically drop super rare and handy supplies, keeping me very hopeful even as my current resources are running out. So I feel like, at least when I have no guns in hand or no resource, I can still wait for the airdrop, which is pretty awesome, I would say. And that's why they are the rarest NFT series in our game. And as for the shotgun, well, it's currently the most overpowered, the OP weapon in the game. I think everyone is currently abusing it. So I'm going to abuse it too before our next major balance page comes out with our new feature that will be also has some integration from the MYRIA SDK. Yep.
Okay, so to our listeners, you've heard it here first. If you want to get an edge, go get the shotgun in the game before they balance it out, because it's currently OP. And yeah, that's definitely a cheat answer, Tang, because it's like if you're given 3 wishes, you're pretty much asking for more wishes in the form of your Prime Founder Coin and Metaverse Master chip. But yeah, awesome answer. Let's go to Lynn.
Yeah, we really have thought about this a lot, because when you first start Zone 9, it basically the same as going to a desert islands. And I think the first thing I would have would be an access X NFT, so you can chop down tree with it. You can defend yourself. The second thing, I think it would be a map. Yeah, so you can lightly navigate, or at least a map. And then the final things, it really hard to decide on it. I want a lot of things, yeah. But I would say it would be a backpack. So we can stop things inside, and we don't have to left anything behind, because everything will eventually become rare when you use all of them.
Awesome. Yeah, a backpack is definitely one of the more practical answers that I've heard to this question. I've asked a couple of people this question before, and none of them have answered a backpack. But then again, all their stuff is probably going to be lugged around hand by hand, and that's not really helpful. So, really practical answer. What about you over there, John? What are you bringing to the island?
Oh man, well, it would have to be self-sustainability, right? Something that we won't die, right? So you need your basic elements. You need food, shelter, and something to protect yourself against, anything on an island. It depends on how big the island is, but that would be my answer.
Yeah, I think Lynn's answer would double as a weapon too. In that, I would, if you have a loaded backpack, that's gonna hurt when you start to hit somebody with that. So, double weapon there. Okay, so this question is for, speaking of Lynn, this question is for Zone 9 Survival and Crystals of Fate. In what ways do your game NFTs evolve throughout the player journey, and how is this achieved using Web3 technology?
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
in Zone Eyes, let's see, how do you get the NFT? Like, say, all of the equipment inside the game, or the bigger, more rare material will be NFT. So you have to like eventually grab the item, or you gather the item, or you like kill the bots and get that item. And because the game aim to be an MMORPG, so you can look at all the MMORPG that existing out there. We can mention like World of Warcraft, or RuneScape, or like Art Online. A lot of games they have the function where you can pay to win, which means you can buy the item from the publisher. But we try to create an actual economy using blockchain and NFT, so that the economy will be user driven, because whatever they want to buy or whatever they want to sell will solely based on their own decision, and based on what they want to do with the game, what they want to do with the economy. And I think this was not possible when before Web3. Yeah, and another thing that makes possible with blockchains is that you can actually monetize the flow of capital when people trading inside your economy. But in like Web2 game like RuneScape, you cannot do that, and it make a lot of trouble because the publisher they try to stop player from actually trading peer to peer, because that does not benefit them directly. It can act like an asset sink in the game, but not directly benefit the publisher. So some of the policy or some of the update they try to restrict that, but we don't. We would love for the people who play our game to push the economy. As long as the economy exists and it circulating, then we making money from it, so we don't have to sell anything and don't have to force player to buy anything from us.
Yeah, that's a really noticeable contrast, I think, because when you look at games like RuneScape, right? When you try to sell an item, the Grand Exchange will just automatically grant you coins in exchange, right? There's no price that's being pulled by demand, and all these things are there's no real exposure to realistic risk, as with Zone 9 if it's a player driven economy. So I think that's a really smart way to approach this, especially in a survival setting. So yeah, good job, you guys over there. And yeah, what about over there in Crystals of Fate?
Okay, I'm here. I had to. I literally almost had to read the question again because I was listening to Ling and he was.
Yeah, we're both kind of like entranced by this player-driven economy. I totally.
I know. Yeah, no, in Crystals, pretty much, obviously it's it's traditional game Web 2, but as far as the Web 3 side of things, you can, we're going to have our cough token and other elements within the game where you can actually evolve it. And, even the cards, like 2D cards can become 3D. You can level them up. Obviously you can do that in Web 2 as well, but like specifically with our stuff with the cough tokens, and we'll have different guilds and land and like kind of based on what he said as well, like it's this allows for everyone, right, to truly own their assets and freely trade and evolve and do what it basically empowers the player to do what they want with their assets, which is a big key for Web3. But yeah, I mean, as players play through the game, they're going to be able to kind of do whatever they want, right, with the different options that we have within the game, and that's sort of the beauty of it.
Awesome, yeah. The crafting part and involving NFTs in your game, I think is pretty interesting because it also mixes up gameplay. Like if once you change your what you have in your arsenal, you become less predictable as a player, but also it changes not only your personal player narrative, but also maybe your play style along the way.
Absolutely, and not to mention then again what I said earlier about the interoperability, right? Like you just don't get that in Web 2, right? So, and that's something I know that a lot of us are pushing for. So, you have other titles and you can use them in other games as well, which is providing the player even more value.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Okay, and then we'll hop on over now to another question. This one is for Ridiculous Shooter and Crystals of Fate. And this is kind of a play around some divination, call it market insight, or just a wild guess, really. What do you think is needed to make a collection go viral? And we'll also kind of tag in Brendan as well to see what his insights on this is. So over to you, Tang.
Yeah. So, I'm always tell this to every developer I know, and I'm very convinced that for an NFT collection tied to the game, the key to going viral lies in the game itself being fundamentally fun. So we always focus on one word, that is fun. Because in my view, the NFT industry has just gone through a phase that is like the historic .com bubble bust. Like every project with very weak fundamental will fail. So it's really just a rules of nature. And we are now entering a new era where projects with solid fundamentals and practical utility will be gaining the traction and become the winner. So, when it comes to the gaming projects, regardless of we are doing NFT games or we are not doing NFT games, the fun factor is always the most important factor for me, at least from my experience. So a game needs to be genuinely enjoyable to catch on, much like the success of Among Us and Party Animals. These kind of games, they are successful because they are really fun. And so our strategy for making our collection a hit is simple. We focus on making the game as fun as possible. And that means that they not only means that the game should only have fun gameplay, fun access. We should be also like delivering the fun factors from time to time in the tiny manners so that the players will keep having fun, keep feeling the fun. So once we nail that, I believe everything else like engaging marketing events, fire marketing tactics, which are also the must, should naturally fall into place. So in this case, I would say that I look into the Crystal of Fate, and I also look into the Zoneland Survivor, and of course Meta Rush. I would say we did pretty great on this particular factor.
Yeah, free to play, fun to earn, like you said earlier on.
That's true.
Cool. And over to you, John. What do you think will make an NFT collection viral? What's your crystal ball prediction? Not really.
Yeah, well, I think I love, by the way, ridiculous what you said about the game being fun. I think that is honestly the biggest factor for anyone. Like for anyone playing these games, right? The game has to be fun. Otherwise, what's the point? So that's by far number one. I know in the past it was like very investor maybe driven, and people jumped in on FOMO and on the investment side. But moving forward, especially I 100% believe that the game needs to be engaging and fun and be self sufficient in that aspect, and then everything else sort of takes care of itself as long as you have your design, your ecosystem, like everything needs to obviously be planned in advance, but those sort of elements and the people coming in will take care of itself if you have the fun factor and something that's engaging. And obviously there's other factors as well, like you need I kind of look at it like a just like Netflix. Like people like to binge, right? They like to binge watch their favorite shows. So you need to make sure, of course, like you've got enough, things for players to do in the game. Again, like for all of us, we can go where, and play any game or do anything. Like time is our, the most valuable commodity that we all have. So we need to make sure that there's things for people to do and stay engaged in the games that we're producing, and really kind of put our player hat on, and always think outside the box and make sure that there's something to do for players. So community is obviously the biggest part of it, about that as well. So definitely fun, and then the community aspect with enough people behind it that will help propel it forward.
Yep, something fun and people to share it with. Definitely, that's a good balance too, right? Like thinking outside the box and also putting yourself in a player's shoe. It sounds like a paradox, but it's the one that we need to drive mass adoption. I'm interested to hear too what Brendan has to say about this in terms of NFTs going viral.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would start by saying that if I knew this reliably, what would configure an NFT to go viral, I would have an overpowered cheat code, so to speak. But I think in broader strokes, it is interesting to look at how this has evolved. And John brought up a very good point there, which is that when we had the sort of quintessential JPEG NFT in the good old days, it was a good demonstration of bare sort of essential token ownership, and we got interesting sort of investment minded people involved to get those collections to go viral. But since then, obviously, NFTs have gone into much more nuanced arenas, and of course that includes gaming, as we all know. And so, absolutely, the game needs to be attractive and engaging before anything else. And I think that task really now is to create a viral NFT, so to speak. You need to create an NFT that does things right. It's no longer just enough to be interesting because you can own an asset. There are ways that these assets can do things, as in the world of NFT games. And so the best ones in my book are ones that are able to create that fun experience and sort of generate. I guess again, going back to what John said, I liked his answer a lot. The sort of time is our most rare commodity. That means emotional investment at the end of the day. So I mean, yeah, it goes without saying. I think a good place to start creating a viral NFT collection is in the game arena. But that really means creating good games first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's an ethos that we all share collectively, is that fun to play, player first experience, because not only are you empowering players to own their assets, but they're also giving them power over their time and energy and what they decide to do with their life force, essentially. So yeah, really provocative one. Moving over to both Ridiculous Shooter and Crystals of Fate. What do you think? No, again, I know this is a very this is a very funny question, but in your book, what is the best NFT collection of all time? Please feel free as a bird to be as biased as possible. # not financial advice. And also why, what qualities in these collections do you admire the most? So
yeah, for sure. So
yeah.
Sorry, I was too excited to answer this. Okay. Since I'm the co-founder of Ridiculous Shooter, I'm going to ridiculously shameless to say that the best NFT collection is definitely our Ridiculous Metaverse Master Cheat NFT series collection, because you can like gain token airdrop in near future, monthly NFT rewards, automatic whitelists, bigger in-game rewards from this NFT series, and the best of all, these benefits also apply to all games within the Ridiculous Metaverse. So here comes the ridiculous part. Imagine this scenario. So if our Ridiculous Metaverse features 2 games, we have 2 games, you will receive monthly NFT rewards for both games. And now if we expand to 4 games inside the Metaverse, you will rate monthly NFT rewards for each of these 4 games. Essentially, the more games we add to our Metaverse, the greater the rewards you accumulate each month, along with other fantastic bonuses. So this is, I would say this NFT series is not just for one game, but for the entire Ridiculous Metaverse. And I think it is pretty impressive for me to say that it could be the best NFT collection. Humble to say, in the ridiculous metaverse.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you guys launched the collection in our marketplace not too long ago, and you were even the first game project to list in the MYRIA token. I think that was a pretty cool milestone. But yeah, definitely ridiculous rewards abound and await players of the not just the ridiculous shooter game, but the entire ecosystem from your studio. I'm gonna pass the mic over to John now on what his take is. What's your favorite?
Yeah, so this is kind of a deep kind of conversation because I could, go many different ways, but really kind of thinking outside the box in terms of pushing the Web3 space to where sort of we've gotten to and the lessons that we've all learned and witnessed. I'm going to have to say, Axie because of what they've achieved and not because of the financial obviously gains and how much the ridiculous amount of money that they've made, right? Billions of dollars. But because of the global effect that it's had in this space and awareness, and but also especially like in from a world perspective, like look at the Philippines, right? Like literally marketplaces were adapting their token because they could be paid in that. I mean, it almost takes me to the, like, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember like Pokemon Go and what that did for like the mobile game space, right? Like I remember literally my wife was, I still remember when that game came out and people were all on the phone calling their providers to get more, data because people were using so much data. And I look at it in the same way as with Axie did. And then the effect of that, which, it had on the marketplace, the local marketplace in the Philippines and then the kind of what's, that just the drive of what that, the intentions and just the effect of all that.
Yeah. Financial osmosis across borders is something that crypto does, especially in terms of gaming. Yeah, absolutely. I love that Tang's been saying the word ridiculous so much that even you are saying the word ridiculous a lot. So it's kind of contagious, isn't it? But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, kind of on the topic also of market trends and how the way the industry is coming along. This one is for Lynn and Brendan, by the way. So just a short note, right? Like in 2023, this was October of this year, people said that NFTs were dead. Google searches around the keyword NFT peaked around, say, late 2021, that bull run. And after that, it started to kind of fall away and taper off recently. Bored apes went down in price too. These things have fed into the sentiment that NFTs are going essentially 6 feet under. What do you think of that? How will next year look like for Web3? Starting with you, Lynn.
Yeah, so my opinion is at the end of 2024, we will see the taking up of the start of the uptrend. So we have a little more than a year to gain traction. Why I'm saying this? Because usually I don't really use like price indicator or Bitcoin price to predict the market. What I use is somewhat similar to social listening. So I track the social interest across internet about Bitcoin. So let's say Bitcoin is the representative of all cryptocurrency to the broader market, and blockchains is like representative for the fundamental technology. So there will be a certain margin between the influence of the word Bitcoin compared to the influence of the word blockchain. And usually when we not having uptrend or we not having any downtrend, then that margin will be very stable, and it's been stable for almost 9 months now, from the last time I checked. But when you have like more blockchain margin in Bitcoin, then it means we are going deeper into the bear market. And when the Bitcoin go up and blockchain still keep the same and go up slowly, then we are starting to a new bull market. And my prediction would be end of next year.
Yeah, and kind of just to your point also on Bitcoin and its relationship with other coins. Like while it is sort of like our mother whale, and it does pull to certain degrees. There's a reason why there are different coins, and there's a reason why some projects do well while others don't. And if in gaming and specifically, I think that player engagement and enjoyment really plays an essential role of injecting more value into that financial ecosystem as opposed to just blindly following Bitcoin. So we have our own sort of agency in that regard, and I love that you highlighted that too. Interesting to know also what Brendan thinks about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, first of all, to answer the first part of the question is no, I don't think that's a good take, obviously, and I don't think NFTs are dead. But I think maybe looking at the history of the last couple of years is helpful to understand where the ups and downs have come from, right? So to get to 2023 where we are today, we were in the middle of COVID when sort of the last NFT boom happened. Everyone was hunkered down, sort of starved, as goes the cliche of personal interaction, and so digital worlds made a big push to help fill that void, so to speak, and with that came NFTs. But as we all know, the simplest sort of NFT to get out to market is the ones that are ornamental and fashionable at best. The gaming ones, of course, take longer. So I think coming into 22 and 23, people got a little bit tired of that owning for the sake of owning in and of itself. And I think this becomes an even bigger problem when the threat of a real recession starts to hit, and the geopolitics globally look unsettling and everything else. But the world is a scary place. But I think for a lot of us, gaming is sort of one of those safe spaces that we can come back to now and then, and so that's not going away. And when you look at what a skin or a weapon or an artifact in the game can do to add to that place that you can go to for some respite, I think is important to predict how NFTs are going to make a comeback. So, I mean, having your own identity even in a sort of sea of other players around you gets pretty well to the heart of what an NFT is supposed to be doing. Something that's yours and no one else's, not even the producer of the game. That's extremely important. You don't bring your JPEGs to work, right? So this was, again, in 21, it was all JPEGs, and those blew up. But you don't bring your JPEGs to work, but you do really play with your character skin or with your artifacts every day in a lot of cases, at least every single match, as often as you're playing. And that's not even really starting to scratch the surface of how it gets involved in gameplay, because, of course, you're serving a greater lore in a lot of gaming cases. And that's because we're trying to effectively engage players to feel properly immersed, so that this can be again, a place that they can find this respite that they need from the world that we're in. And really, I think it's Web3 tech and NFTs that get us there. We want to give players the power to influence certain outcomes through their own content, through their own sort of collective consensus. And I think with the appropriate tools and technology to scale these games and make it all possible, that's what's going on. And when NFTs become something that people genuinely need to make these games as is the case with our partners who are on this space right now, then it doesn't become a matter of sort of mania or anything like this, or investment hype. It's just really something that's required in order to make these games better, and that's going to make NFTs come back in a much larger and more sustainable way.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Well said, by the way. And I think it's a generation thing too, right? Because we have a lot of the driving population, the demographic that's responsible for a lot of the production development and ideas, basically. These are the Nintendo kids who grew up in the 90s already. And majority of the space leaders are in that space. And I feel like a lot of this population is really driven to be normal to be a gamer nowadays, and that's going to mean a lot for when you look at the percentage of market share and also the number of transactions related to blockchain gaming, especially now that 2024 is looking quite bright with how Bitcoin legislation is panning out, but also the space in general. Traditional gamers are moving into Web3, but then are also kind of sharing that pot and creating more interested people in the space. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. And excited for next year too. Yeah, and kind of just to wrap, I thought it'd be a great idea to end with since Christmas is around the corner, we're hearing Christmas songs everywhere. Mariah Carey is starting to show herself in the bushes and just talking people with her songs of joy. In that spirit, what is your biggest Web3 wish for next year in 2024? I'll pose this question to everybody. Maybe we can start with Tang again, then just go around the board and share your thoughts.
Yes, for sure. So can you still hear me, Taji?
Yeah.
Just to confirm. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you so much. So I'm sorry. So really, I really have a lot of thoughts when it comes to people saying the NFTs with that. So I personally experienced the .com bubble bust like many years before. The people would say the internet. The internet is that, these kind of things, and then people start, and many people start to do innovation for the internet again, and then we was alive until Web 2, and now here comes the Web 3. So I'm really convinced that the future of the NFT is it will be that or not. It's not really like defined by the history, defined by the past, but defined by what we do for this in the future. So I believe that we as the NFT game maker, game developer, we definitely want to, definitely want to step by step to prove that NFT is not that, and especially with the vision that NFT is not that, and also they can be very well alive, especially with our vision. My vision is not. Our vision is not just creating an NFT game for the sake of it. We want to create an NFT game so that every player, they can really play and earn at the same time. Because in the past, the players will be like working for a very long time with a job, and then they come to home and they'll be very too tired to play. So our vision is that we want to we hope that the players can play for the whole day and also earn enough living or earn great living, just like the YouTuber, the YouTuber that can shoot the videos, the TikToker that can shoot the videos, and they can also earn from these videos at the same time. So we have this vision, and we believe that the NFT is really the only technology that allows us to achieve this vision. So in that case, our greatest wish in the Web3 space is to witness the launch of all Web3 functionalities, particularly the capability to mint, trade, and burn MYRIA NFTs directly within our game. So step by step, we want to achieve this vision. And the first thing is that we hope to implement this MYRIA SDK features, the minting, in-game minting, trading, and also burning inside our game. So achieving this would mean the complete integration and full utilization of the MYRIA SDK in our game, which we believe would also be a historic milestone for both MYRIA and us. And we are definitely passionately committed to this objective and are actively working towards making it a reality. And I would say, to wrap up, this is the biggest Web3 wish we have for the next year.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks so much for that, Tang, and the really ambitious but also heartwarming vision that you have there. One day at a time, as we do in the builder space. We're trying to get John back up because he got kicked from the space. Let me see if I can get him. But in the meantime, I'll pass the mic to Lynn, who. Yeah. I'll pass the mic to Lynn, and while I help get John back up.
Sure.
So, what is your Web3 wish for 2024? Anything specific that you want to happen in the space or for your game specifically?
Yeah, for the space, I think we just already in deep into the bear market, and I think it's a good thing because survival to the fittest.
Yeah.
The longer the bear market, the harsher the bear market, then the neck bone will be bigger, and all of us who have stick together and survive will can like share a bigger market with less competitor. For my project, what I want is to like complete domination of local markets, so we can got a lot of traction before we going to globally and tackle the Web3 piece.
Yeah, it's cool that you've correlated to like your game and the broader market and survival of the fittest. I really feel like bull runs tend to create a lot of inflation, not just in coins, but also in competitors. And that correction is sometimes needed to really flesh out the real players of the space and making the most change and impact. So great point that you've had over there. I'm going to ask John the same question too, what his Web3 wish is for 2024, be it for Crystals of Fate or the broader industry.
Yeah, thank you. So I think, really what's really cool too before we get into that is seeing even right now, right? All of the coins, MYRIA, a lot of the game tokens are really getting a pump with, MYRIA too. Like, you guys have just taken off recently with the token. So I think that we're starting to see an upward trend overall, and a lot of people are really, taking to investing in the tokens and in the space, which is really awesome to see. It's very encouraging. I think overall, for me, and I think for most of us, it's always a major kudos to anyone that's truly been building through the bear market, right, for the past, probably year and a half, 2 years since the 2021 fiesta that everyone enjoyed. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have left this space because it's no longer, easy mode for a lot of them to just take advantage of the market. So, for anyone here that has true intentions, nothing but respect for anyone that is truly building for the right reasons, and for anybody that's doing that, you're going to have the benefit and of the bull run and for what we're about to get into this next year. So, it's that's what I would have to say for that.
Yeah, I hope your Web3 wishes do come true as a builder yourself in not just easy mode, but hard mode during the bear. Yeah, I know you guys have been really just steamrolling it over there and grinding away. How about you, Brendan? What's your personal Web3 wish for 2024 as we look to end the last month of this year?
Yeah, it's a hard one because I have a few, but yeah, I'll try to answer sort of at the like John on at the industry level. I think the first thing that I'd like to see for sure is a continued trend toward more established game studios tinkering with Web3. That is with the goal always in the back of my mind of making it more accessible to more players, and when those guys get involved, that happens. We're already seeing good strides on that front. If anyone's familiar with Square Enix, the publisher of Final Fantasy, they're making their Web3 debut with a new blockchain game. So that's a good sign for hope. But then I think, behind that, as I said, is the accessibility ultimately for players. I think that that's my other big hope, and I want to tie that with this idea that I think as we continue to make our technology better and as it becomes more ingrained with the games, this will begin to be a sell. Not just for players that are interested in Web3 and sort of tinkering with new technologies generally, but it will be something that will become almost unacceptable if it isn't in your game, which is to say that hopefully, maybe this isn't a 2024 wish, maybe it's a 2025 or later wish, but at some point, I'd like our pitch to the gaming community to become so good that players just find the risk of playing a game where they don't really own their assets and they can't really guarantee that if the studio goes bust or if people stop working on the game or any number of things that can go wrong, they won't lose their assets along with it. I want that to become unaccessible or unacceptable rather, so that it really does start to be the players who are demanding Web3 to be in their games so that they can guarantee that they own these assets. I think that's sort of the shift in dynamic that I'd really like to see again. Maybe not 2024, but if we're selling our technology well, I think players will eventually start to demand this of us, and that's a very good sign that it's not something we're building for fun, but it's because players now understand the benefit of it and desire it.
Yeah, well, Brendan, it is. There are a lot of exciting things that are on the horizon, and we're seeing parts of it start to flesh out. And it's just nice to be able to be a part of it in some capacity, be it through creating our own games or supporting other really great games like those producers on our panel now. So yeah, really, really great stuff, you guys. That's the end of the line for the questions. I'm kind of just skimming through the comments to see if there are any questions that pop out that we might want to address specifically for this panel. I'll just see is good morning millionaires. Stop it. So I'm looking at, let me see, community building, great gaming community before game launch. A lot of them is really just, let's go, good morning. Good morning to you guys too. Yeah. Okay, when staking launch, do wait for the announcement. Staking will be coming as part of it's in the pipeline at the moment. And yeah, okay, so I'm just going to open the floor real quick in case there's anyone in the audience who'd like to request to be a speaker. Maybe we can bump you up and accommodate maybe 2 to 3 questions before we wrap it up and send everyone on their merry way. So if you have a question, feel free to request to be a speaker. Yeah. And also, since this is a Voyage partner AMA, I think I'd just like to highlight to say thank you to everybody who participated in the Voyage campaign that we've launched a couple of days ago from mid-November onward to the end of November. And so our partners here were kind enough also to bring to the potluck some NFTs for the rewards, and there were some other community building tasks available in ZLA. I can say now that the team has already consolidated the entries, are going through it, and the draws are being made towards those rewards. So if you were a participant in that campaign, brace yourselves, you might be a recipient of those nifty rewards from Ridiculous Shooter. They popped in some NFT rewards at stake. We also have Zone 9 and Participate, and we also have 2 other partners, Okenga and Happyland, who joined the mix also. So I'm seeing, oh, it's Starlit Baby, yeah, Decentralized World. I remember you from the last AMA. What is your question? Hello? Yeah, so I've bumped you up as a speaker. Feel free to ask us your questions. You're currently muted, so when you're ready, do fire away. So this one is, yeah, there we go.
Hey guys.
Hi. Hello again.
I just have a question for Brandon. Like, I just want to know what's his vision about the 2024 and the 2025, and what changes can see in the Web3 gaming markets last in 2024 or 2025, So right now, things is totally different. And what's in their plan if the things changes and shifted to focus more on gaming, and what his vision about these things? And I just want to know.
Okay, so to clarify, this is a question for Brendan's outlook in the gaming space for 2024 and 2025.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of, I heard better the latter part of your question, and I think you mentioned something about sort of a shift in focus. So one thing I do want to just say quickly, because it's maybe not known, because there are a lot of projects similar to ours in creating L2s and the like in roughly the same time period, but they did it in a very sort of generalized way for use cases that were numerous at the time. We started from the beginning as a gaming platform. So I mentioned that because I think it's a big differentiator. Every piece of technology that we've built from day one has been with both players and game creators in mind. So that's not changing into 2024 and 2025 at all. I think one thing that we do have a strong desire for in these upcoming couple of years is to make yet more invisible certain aspects of NFTs. Those players that want to get involved to such a degree in the NFT side of the game that they want to go onto marketplaces, they want to they want to make it part of their gaming experience, is really involving themselves on the Web3 side. We want to make that open, and that's accessible already. But general accessibility for that huge swath of players out there that aren't wildly interested in NFTs themselves, but want a better gaming experience. We want to continue to support that from a technical narrative perspective, but certainly from a technical one I can speak to that in these next couple of years, we want to make it possible for the studios and the creators on this call and our other partners to provide these really impressive and really important sort of backbones of the next generation of games to their players in a way where the players don't have to really take a year or two to read up about what the heck is going on under the hood. So for me, that's a huge focal point of what we'll be doing in the next couple of years. But as I say again, that's been our plan mostly from the beginning, and we're really happy with our success so far. We'll be continuing it for the next couple of years. But yeah, thanks a lot for the question.
Really great question. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Starlord Baby, Decentralized World. Pleasure to have you as a person asking questions in our AMAs as usual. So yeah. Let me just, if that's all good and you're all good, I'm going to bump you down now in case anybody else would like to ask a question. That's possible too, or if not, feel free to type up in the chat room in the comment section if you're a bit more shy on that. Don't want to go up as a speaker. Okay, seeing a lot of good mornings, nice to meet yous, let's goes. Yeah, not too many questions currently. I'm seeing the bot that always floods our AMAs with where can I find that money-making fish trading bot everybody's using? Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, it's always there. Every single AMA, no fail, there's always a bot that says that. Okay, so if no further questions yet, as always, our Discord is always open to any more inquiries that you'd like to post to the team, and we'll try to get to you as soon as we can regarding project updates and other exciting announcements that are on their way. And before I wrap, I'd just like to thank again our speakers for joining us today. I know the past stream may have been like a bit of a blip. We had some technical issues that were preventing us from pushing along, but then you guys stuck on with us and have this nice little discussion and little panel discussion with us today. So thanks again for making it and spending your Friday with us.
Yeah, get some sleep, John.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah,
That's funny.
the other side of the world.
You guys all know where I'm from, eh?
Yeah, because you don't.
Yeah, I heard your accent. And I thought, oh, I got to check the time there. Yeah, you're.
Oh yeah. No, it's all good. This is it's a reasonable time. It's better than like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, my favorite is, John saying, "Oh, you know where I am, eh?" Yes, we do.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, we have one last request to speak. I'll push this up as maybe like the final question, and then kind of close the door. So I've bumped you up. This is who is this? Oh, I think they left. Oh, shame. Maybe some. Maybe some stage fright in the mix.
They didn't want John to sleep. They don't want Canadians to get rest.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, they definitely left. But yeah, well, in any case, we'll let John sleep now.
Well, why are you guys picking on me right now?
It
We're
just came to
looking
mind
at
when I knew the time zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
You notice when Tarzi talks as well, it's always about let's talk to John. Let's never crystals of fate.
Yeah, it's wrong. You are. Okay. Oh, yeah. Our speaker has joined us. Agbo, I believe, has joined as a speaker now. Do you have any question before we wrap?
Oh yeah. I have a very bad network, so I just wanted to know when the official release of the game on MYRIA. So that's what I wanted to ask.
Oh, okay. So by this, I think you're referring to MetaRush, right?
When will it be officially released? The games.
Of which game?
Games on MYRIA.
Oh, well, for those building, like not just MYRIA Studios. Oh, also there might be a little bit of an echo, so I might request you to mute for a while we answer the question. Okay, perfect. So for partner builders who are building on MYRIA, there are actually a couple that are already in late stage alpha and that are already playable on different platforms. Crystals of Fate included. You can download a version of it and start tinkering with the game mechanics. The same is true with Ridiculous Shooter and Android and other Android and other platforms. So yeah, there's a list of games that are already playable to some degree, and we're following their development really closely and supporting them technically with their blockchain transactions along the way.
Yeah, MetaRush too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, MetaRush is going through. We've had 2 closed alphas already to date, and we've gotten a lot of really helpful feedback from not just the community, but also other streamers and game influencers who were kind enough to lend their 2 cents on where the game is going. A lot of them liked the character design and environment design and level design. And so we're building off of that and really trying to pay that ear to our community and see what their suggestions are and try to implement them as best as we can. So yeah, really buzzing. A lot of activity going on, just hacking away at these tasks to get these games to you, not just on the MYRIA studio side, but also in our partner side as well. Cool question. Okay, so yeah, as the final question, I'm going to officially wrap the space. Thank you so much for everyone listening, and also our panelists for joining us today, as mentioned earlier. And yeah, for those, these panelists, by the way, their collections are also already listed on MYRIA, so you can find some loot boxes from Zone 9. You've got the Genesis sale on Crystals of Fate, that's available too, so if you'd like to sleek some extra cards and also explore the lore and that game, it's definitely possible. Do check them out on our marketplace. And then also Ridiculous Shooter has 2 collections listed on our marketplace. Do check those out too. There's some really fun ones, like he mentioned earlier, the Prime Founder coin and the Metaverse Master Chip is all there up for grabs on the marketplace. So do give that a browse. And yeah, do wish you guys a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much to our panelists. And also Brendan for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for everyone to show up. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, and stay tuned for more announcements along the way, and really advanced happy holidays to everyone as well.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Alrighty.
everyone, and happy holiday.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Touch, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.